Hi guys, today I'm going to be teaching you a tutorial on how to draw Donald Duck and how to color him in. You're going to need 2 pencils today, or if you have one, that's okay. You're going to start with an H pencil and a B pencil. You're also going to need a couple of colors, but I'll show you those when we get to that. So let's just get right into it. So like last tutorial, if you saw that one with the Mickey Mouse, you're going to want to start with these basic guidelines that many people do when they draw these Disney characters. And so mainly you'll typically draw with the circle with these characters. And so you're going to do not the biggest circle, but keep it a medium size, light as you can. And for a coloring one, what we're doing today, you want to keep it not as many lines, because I typically do a lot of lines because I go it over and over again, but try not to do that as much because you want to keep it plain as you can, like a coloring sheet, so we can color it all in. But yeah, so like that. Okay, once you get to this shape, if you can see that, you're going to do another straight line, vertical line through the middle. And you don't want to focus on getting it straight at all. This is just indicating what's the middle and what needs to go where with the eyes and the beak for Donald Duck. Okay, so you're going to go like this. Okay. You do another horizontal line, but like Mickey Mouse, it was up here, but it's going to be actually down here. It's going to be lower because the beak is a little lower and his mouth is more sticking out from his lower head, and so you want to keep this lower. Okay. Once we have that now, you are then going to move on to some of the more for sure or bold lines. And so let's get right into it. So the next step on this that we're going to do for Donald Duck, we're then going to do the top of his beak. So first you're going to start off right here, kind of typically on top of this line a little bit above. And you're going to make a little curve that's going to go to here. And it's going to go to here basically. So it's going to curve onto this bottom line right here. Just like so. And this actually is going to curve up into over here. Just kind of make it stop right there somewhat. Not too close to here. But you're going to do the same thing on this side. Nice and smooth here. Just want to get it so where it's pretty even on both sides. Okay. Once you have this down, we are then going to move on to a nice curved line right here to indicate like the top of his mouth. I'm going to go a little bit below the guideline. Nice little curve, nothing much to it. Okay, and then we're then going to go to this point where the circle and this guideline meet. And you're going to put a little point at both sides. And you're going to want to make a giant line that's going to go to here and it's going to connect to here. Now this is going to be the beak, the main part of the beak. And so you're going to want to start off with like not the like hardest sides, but kind of like round them off. But you want to do it where, so like, yeah, like this. So it's curving into the mouth, the circle. But you don't want to do it towards below. Kind of keep it below the circle line. Okay, and we're doing the same thing on this side. Thicken it out. Should look somewhat like this. Okay. Pretty good so far. Okay. Next step here, we're going to start with the eyes. The eyes are usually the hardest part for me because these are the main pieces to these characters, and they give the character. And so try focusing on trying to get these down, but don't let them frustrate you. They usually frustrate me, so I don't want that for you too. And so let's get into it. I want to start off with these big oval shapes, just like Mickey Mouse, but these are going to be wider. And they're kind of going to go along the ridge here, but they're going to go curving up, and they're going to go somewhat down to here, a little bit close to the line in the middle, but you don't want to do it too close so they don't have like cross-eyed, but somewhat like this, like egg shape. Think of it like an egg, but almost like you stretched it out almost. There we go, pretty good. And you can always change this at the end. I usually don't like erasing because it kind of messes me up and it makes it all messy, but you can erase if you want. But you can always pause the video too if you might going too fast. Do whatever you think will help you. I just want you guys to have a fun time learning this, and yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. Do a curve. It's gonna fall into this curve that we made a little bit ago, and so I want to make this a little more round right here, but don't worry about making it perfect. Have fun with it. They're just happy little accidents, like Bob Ross says. Good, okay. We're then going to move on to the pupils. Pupils are just basic ovals. They're a lot smaller than the eye itself, but you want to make them somewhat this size. You want to do a nice over and over shape of an oval right here. Okay, pretty good. And then you're gonna do on this side right here. Yeah, but these characters always are really fun to draw. That's why I always love drawing these. Some of my favorite guys to draw. They're just really easy, and also looks like you know how to draw once you know how to do these guys. And so, yeah. Alright, then we will move on to the next step, which is we are then going to move on to the bottom of his mouth, and then we are going to do his cheeks and his eyebrows. And so let's start his cheeks. And so when we're going on to the cheeks, we're first going to do a nice little curve that's starting from here, which is somewhat a little bit to here, kind of in the middle of his pupil, but a little lower, like there. And do it on this side as well, on this part right there. And then what you want to do is then gonna go to here, curve up a little bit, and you're gonna go outside of the circle, curving out and doing a nice curve into here. It's gonna like an S shape or like a question mark shape. See, that's kind of like a question mark if you put a dot here. Yeah. And so you're gonna go for that a little bit and make these go up a little bit more. And we're gonna do on this side, go up a little bit, go out of the circle, make that question mark. Okay, make this go up a little bit. I saw it's a little low, but I can always go over that at the end. Okay, and then after that, to finish off the cheeks, we're then gonna do the smiles or the dimples. Okay, it's gonna be these big. There we go. That makes them a lot more happier. I like that. So we're gonna do on this side too. Pretty simple. Just connect it with a curved line, and it makes them really happy. Perfect. Okay, now to finish off his mouth, we're then gonna do the bottom of his mouth. And this, the front view of his face, we're gonna make him open his mouth. And to make him open his mouth, we're gonna follow with this curved line right here, because this is indicating the back of his mouth and is the bottom of his lip. And so to do that, we're gonna make an invisible line but curved light line that's gonna go to here through his beak to here. Okay. You do on this side too, and what you want to do is you want to make it so it's sticking out like to here. You don't want to make it too far down, but you're going to make it somewhat to here. You're going to make this kind of like square, oval, round shape like a rectangle. Somewhat like this. Okay. Now, once we do that, you're then going to go to this point where the circle meets to this line. You're going to go a little closer in, but this is just going to be the thickening of the line of his lip. So you're just going to go along this and trace over and just follow along with the outer line. Start here again, and yes, easy, nice little part. And so that's basically it for his lip, and all we have to do for the rest of his mouth is do his tongue, which is weirdly kind of like a triangle shape. I guess ducks have triangle tongues. I'm not exactly sure, but they always have this triangle in his mouth. But yeah, cool. And we're gonna make a little curve to finish off his cheek right here to indicate that this is going to his head, just like so. And that should be it for his cheeks. Now from here, we're then gonna move on to the little hairs and his eyebrow on his head. So for his eyebrows, we're just gonna make these big curves, starting from right about here, a little in the circle, and you're gonna go out the circle. You're gonna make this big bump, and it's gonna go da 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 da, and it's gonna go all the way down to here. Go in and out, like so. It makes him like really happy, like it makes his motion more animated. We're gonna do on the same side. You start right here. So I hope you guys are liking these videos. I'm really trying to put a lot of more videos of how to draw, because I know they're really simple to do and they're also really enjoying to do. And so if there's any suggestions you guys would like me to do, please leave in the comments. I know the comments are turned off because I put on kids last time, but I'll try changing that. But I want to make it so you guys can be involved in what you want me to do for you guys to learn, and so just let me know. I know I'm a small YouTube channel right now, but I'm just doing this to serve you guys and make art fun for you guys, and I want that the most for you guys. So anyways, once you have eyebrows, you're going to go to the top of his circle of his head, and you're going to go up, curve down, and make this hair, and you're going to make another hair that's going to curve like this. It's going to fall in to here, and don't worry about making the hairs perfect. It's just going to make it look weird. His hairs are all messy, and you can't really keep track of how many hairs there are. But you're gonna make it so it's all crazy, because he does have kind of crazy hair, but you can barely see most of his hair. But that should be it for his hair. Okay, let's move on to the next step. We are gonna make the hat. The hat's probably one of the main and centerpieces of Donald Duck, because everyone knows him as a sailor kind of outfit, and so let's just get into it. It's a really big hat, by the way. Maybe bigger than Goofy's hat, but I'm not sure. I know Goofy has a big hat as well. And so what you're going to start off with is from his eyebrow up here. You're basically going to go up, basically a straight line that's going to go to about right above his hair, or somewhat close to it, right there, yeah, probably. And then you're going to make a curved line that's going to go from here to here. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little lower. And so then what you're gonna do is curve it off, so it's somewhat gonna look roundish, but though it is 2D, you're just gonna make it curve down into here somewhat. Okay, you can fix it, make it lower if you want. I might make it lower, but you just want to make it curve and just indicate that it's just falling down, because this part right here is gonna be the part of his topper hat. And so yeah, and so to finish it off, you're then gonna want to finish this curve line by going into his eyebrow and through, and it's gonna go, imagine it as it's going and it's curving this way. And so yeah, like this somewhat. Okay, So we're then from here going to make a curved line that's then going to go up. Make sure you don't want to make it too thick because it's kind of like the smaller piece to his hat. And then you're going to make it go upwards back to the top. You're going to stop it right about to here. And then you're going to make another curve that's going to go somewhat right here. It's going to go up. This is the major big piece right here. Okay, and then to finish it, we're just going to go to here. From this point, we're going to go up. Sorry about that, email. I have a lot of siblings, so I'm sorry if it's really loud sometimes. And so I have a crazy house, but it's fun. But I just want to let you know that. But I still love to draw still, even though it is kind of hard to draw sometimes in a crazy home. But that's just the thing with big families. I mean, big families are fun, I guess. And so, yeah, so you're going to have a shape somewhat like this. And if it doesn't fit exactly at this point, that's okay. You can simply just kind of like make it so it does. And you can always erase this at the end. I don't like erasing as I'm doing it because it gets me frustrated as I do it. And if it doesn't, then just erase, but I'll save that towards the end. But I think this looks like a pretty good hat. I may want to take this out a little more. It looks a little unbalanced. And this looks a little high. I'm just gonna do this. It's more of like a curve that goes into here. Okay. Then for the last major piece, you're then gonna go with the black little strip hanging off of it, which is basically a curved line going to here. And it's just gonna curve like this, and it's gonna curve over to the next strip. And then it's just going to go back into the hat. Okay, perfect. And all we really have to do next is just take these curved lines from the circle and just darken them out so it shows it's the head. That's the easiest thing. It's just tracing. I mean, tracing is one of my favorite things to do. And if you already have the circle down, then all you have to do is just trace over it. That's why it's important to have these guidelines, because they really do help you. I hope you guys found that as we've been drawing. Okay, now it looks like it's pretty good. I hope it looks good for you, but if it doesn't, that's okay. But we are now going to move on to the coloring. And so, it's up to you if you want to leave it like this. And if you want to leave it like this, a drawing, you can darken the lines with the darker pencil. That's why I had it just in case. But it looks pretty good to me. I don't think I need a darker pencil. But I'm just going to move on to the coloring. And so I'm going to show you guys the colors. So the major colors you're going to be using are a blue, a black, an orange, and a pinkish, and a little gray. And I will show you what I have for those colors, but I just have a black right here. I use Prismacolor. I just got these, but you can use any color pencil. I heard that these pencils are really good, but I know they're really expensive, and I was luckily able to get them with my Christmas money. But then you're going to want to move on to his hat, which is a blue shape, or a blue color. And you can do any color that you think is close enough to it. I found that this one's closest to it. And so that should be good. And I found a lighter color for the shading and darker color for it. And for his eyes, he has these bluish, kind of grayish eyes. Let me get it really quick. It's right here. Should be close enough, but you don't have to shade it in. I just saw he's on a image basing off coloring. I just saw that he has these grayish eyes, and yeah. And then you want to have a lighter color for the highlights on his beak, which is an orange for the base color, which is this color I have. And then you can have a darker color for the inside of his mouth, which is this shape right here. Okay, and then for the grayish, kind of bluish, like a baby blue, I'm going to use this for like the shading of his feathers. And so I have another shade of that, and I have a pink for his tongue. And so, yeah, should go pretty good. And so before I go into colors, I'm going to erase, and I will be back to you guys once I have all my lines erased. And so, yeah, I'll check back into you guys. Once we're here, we're then going to move on to the beak. So I'm just going to get my base color for the beak, which is this color right here. Basically, what I'm going to do is go over this whole beak not the inner. And you can if you want. It doesn't really matter, but just gonna go over this with this orange lightly if you want. I do it lightly. Just get the base color down, like we said. Coloring is really simple. I'll try not to complicate it. There's just different ways to make it a lot more cleaner, a lot more 3D, a lot more realistic. But I don't want to take away the fun from you guys, so if you just want to ignore me, you can if you want, but yeah, just trying to help you guys out. And one way to color is just kind of like sticking with one way and not going side by side or blah 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 like that. You just want to stick with the flow of it. If it's like going this curve, you can go around with this curve. If it's going like this, and if it's going like side by side with this curve, then go like that with it and go along with the curve. But it helps to make it a lot more smoother, and it's not just always so jaggedy and like crazy all the time, but it just really helps it. Okay, I'm gonna go on this side. Okay, once you have this, we're gonna move on to this nice color, darker kind of color. And I'm gonna make this, since the light's going on this side, remember that. And we are going to want to make the shades on this side, excuse me. And so, I'm simply just gonna go, follow the curve, just gonna make this. There's a dark, it's kind of like this is an overlap. So whenever there's overlaps, it's usually darker because the beak is over the lip, and it's gonna be usually darker. This whole beak is the lip. This lip right here is gonna be somewhat darker than the beak itself because it's under it. It's not getting the full light as the beak is. And as you can see, understanding light values and dark values is very important. I mean, it's not crucial for like just basic, but it's very like useful. I mean, to understand this, because it really does help you as really good artwork. But it's not needed, so don't feel like you're pressured. But it should be pretty good. Gonna shades down. I'm gonna get my darker color. I'm gonna come into the beak right here. I'm gonna start just getting inside the mouth. And so try not to hit that tongue. Since this is part of the beak, you can take this color and you can go around and make the extra darker shadows and really convey it's really going dark here. This is the dark side. This will make your drawing pop because so many colors. More colors, the more better. Just makes it a lot more beautiful. Like this, we're then going to move on to the rest of it. And so one thing I forgot to do is the tongue. Basically what you can do for the tongue is take your pink, just color it in. So like this, and the pencil marks kind of like help it to make a little shade. So, and like what I did for the beak, basically what you can do to outline it is take your base color or your darker color of your orange and just go over the lines. And I go over harder with the darker side so it can convey it's like darker. And so it turns out pretty good once you do that. And so yes, just gonna sharpen up my lines by just going along here, tracing and going along here, make it a little more simple. Perfect. I can take my gray too and just come in here. Make the indication just of a little shade. Don't want to do too much because gray is a strong color of shade. And so, cool. Okay. Now, we're gonna move on to, let's say, his hat. Okay, his hat's black right here, and his hat's black with this little flap on his hat. So we're gonna go with the nice light base color of the black right here. Try not to hit his hair as you can. Okay, should be pretty good with the hat for now. I'll like do sharper lines as I do the feathers a little bit, but let's just move on to this flap right here. Okay, you're just gonna do a light color base again. I'm gonna move on to, I think the hat, or the main piece of the hat. And you're gonna get your blue. We're just gonna go a light base of it. Nice navy kind of blue, but navy blue is a little darker. But it is like a sailor hat, so you can put navy blue. Or you can put any pattern you want of this hat. And like for Christmas theme, like a couple weeks ago, you could have put a Santa hat in here. I mean, you can add whatever you want on this. Be as crazy as you want. But it's super simple. Kind of make it a little curve as you're coloring in, because this will indicate that's a nice, not like a flat hat, but it's like a roundish, kind of like a squishy hat, I would say. And then as it gets to the top, it's going to curve into this way, because the curve's going to end like this. Okay, once you have basic colors down, I think we should start doing the darker colors. And so as we get to this side, this is completely out of the sight of light, I would say. It's because it's kind of behind his head, and it's on the opposite side of the light. And so you can go full out dark on it, add a little gray on there, and then it can lead into the lights of the hat. I got the hat down, and what I did basically was just go over it with gray to get the darker areas, and I took the base color and I just went over and traced it like we did with the beak. Okay, look, the hat looks pretty good to me. And so now what we're going to move on to is the highlights and darks of the feathers. And so what you want to do, basically my darker one I think is this one right here, and what you want to do is I'm just going to trace over the outline. It may not look like much, but I'm just going to trace over just this right here, just like the indication of his feathers and all that. Because once we have this done, the pencils are kind of like covered with colored pencil. Pencil can't really be affected as much anymore. I think that's it. Let me just kind of like go over this. Okay. Okay. Once you have this down, what you're gonna then want to do is go over on this side and kind of like add in this baby very light blue, and you're just gonna want to put in these highlights. This is really gonna make it like show. And then I can add a tiny bit of gray to really show the darks. Okay. And from there, I think this looks pretty good. Yeah, I think we're good. I think this comes down to the end of it. And so, I know it was a longer video, but I really hope you enjoyed. Sign it, always sign it. And I love putting the date too, just to know when it happened. it's the 15th, 16th, I think. I always get my dates wrong. But I try my best doing that. And you can title it too, like Donald Duck. Donald Duck. And that should be it. You can add whatever you want to it, add a background, but it should be good. But I hope you guys really enjoyed. I really appreciate you guys checking in on this video. It was really fun to do it with you guys, and I hope it's helpful for you guys to understand coloring and drawing more, and I hope I can be here for you guys. And just, again, let me know in the comments what you want to see next. And please subscribe if you could, and thank you guys for liking. Keep on doing that. I really do appreciate it all. But have a great weekend. Enjoy your Sunday. It's my Sunday for me, but yeah, enjoy it all. God bless you guys, and thank you all.